What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is December 30th, 2020. Only one more day left in 2020. I'm sure everyone is pumped for the new year. I'm also the Director of Research at LeDuc Trading. Today we're going to be talking about the action in the headline indices. We're going to talk about the volatility, some of the trades that I put on today and closed, and I actually did quite a bit of trading today. We'll look under the hood at the sectors and style factors, and lastly, we'll take a look at some of the options activity. But before we jump into the meat of today's session, quick risk disclaimer: nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. So with that being said, we are going to jump right in. It is a bit late and I don't want to hold you guys for too late, so I'm going to make this a pretty quick video if I can. Let's see, usually I end up talking for like way too long. But yeah, you can see the S&P 500 up 0.14% today. We had the NASDAQ QQQ unchanged for today. And then we had IWM bouncing back after a pretty big drawdown yesterday, up 1.02%. And we had the Dow Jones up 0.22%. So you can see here, not really much to say about the ES. Those perma bulls and perma bears, sort of got the short end of the stick today. And it is all about those premium sellers. As you can see, we just had a doji day, which makes perfect sense going into the holiday. Not really going to see too much activity. QQQ, very similar story. There's not really much going on. Pretty much everyone is away on holiday, so you're not seeing much in these headline indices. IWM was the only one where we saw a big move, and it looks like a bit of a bounce back from yesterday's red candle. So you can see in IWM, we closed right at about that 5-day exponential moving average. So still maintaining that bullish trend. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah, this was, relatively speaking, compared to the last month and a half, a pretty big 2-day drop, and now we're getting that bounce. And let's see if my toss wants to cooperate with me. Uh-oh. Let's wait for the program to respond. Okay. And then the Dow Jones essentially continuing its sideways to upward trend, not really doing much, also putting in a doji candle. But despite what looked like no action on the surface, we actually did see some pretty big movers under the hood. So let's take a look at that. And you can see a lot of those sectors and style factors which took really big hits yesterday, bounced back in a major way today. So you can see solar energy up 3.1%. We had the ARC Autonomous Technology Fund up 2.92%. You can see the regional banks up 1.28%. So we had, some strength across the board. The one that I bought the dip in the other day, ARC Innovation, up 2.24%. And the other interesting thing, look at the gold miners. So the gold miners for a while could not catch a bid whatsoever. And now they're, nearing the top of the list in terms of momentum. So that's definitely a big change. And, just something to be cognizant of. And you can see we have some of the laggards down here. Software, home builders, which had been strong in COVID, and telecommunications. In terms of our style factors, we had the high beta style factor showing relative strength, up 1.6% today. And then our big laggard was growth, down 0.07%. Let's take a look at some of the trades that I put on, some things on my watch list. And today was a pretty active day for me. I actually saw a lot of, interesting setups. So let's take a look first at Baidu. And Baidu is one where I have been long the February 190 strike calls. And Baidu is a stock I've been trading all month. So I originally, I talked about these all throughout my market recap videos. I originally got long Baidu on this breakout candle right here. I got long at the top of that breakout candle And I was like, oh man, like Baidu's already gone up so much. Like I might have to cut this trade. And Baidu just went on a really nice run. I closed out my first position. I had some January calls. Closed those out for I think about like a 60% gain and rolled out to some February calls. I closed those February calls on this big green candle right here. And I was like, you know what, Baidu, might correct. Who knows? Let's see what the river brings. So let me just take my profits here. I took these off for about a 100% gain. And then I saw that Baidu was just moving sideways. And, really no big correction, just a correction in time. So when I saw that, I jumped back into the February 190 strike calls on this big red candle. And I had to wait a couple of days. But yesterday I saw, hey, we had a doji candle. But even though we dojied, we made a new swing high for the close. So I came into today's price action, with Baidu on my mind. And I was like, this might be the day where Baidu actually breaks out, yet again. So when I saw the early strength in this stock, at around $202 a share, on that breakout, I added some common shares to my position. And I figured, you know what, I want to add as the stock is working for me. That's something that I'm trying to work on, especially into 2021. And as I do the investing championship, I want to be adding to trades that are working for me. So I added my common shares. And then I ended up closing out my position at around like $216. And I closed it out for about an 89% gain. So overall, Baidu, I made like a 58% gain originally, then a 100% gain, then another 89% gain. So Baidu has been like my best stock, for this month. But one thing that I'm thinking about is, so originally when I bought here, I believe I bought like the 150 strike calls. And I'm thinking to myself, so I made 58%, then 100%, then 90%. So, I was able to manage my risk along the way and sort of like pull profits out of Baidu. The thing I'm thinking is like, maybe that's around like a 200 to 250% gain I made in the stock. But if I had just held my 150 strike calls I originally bought, those would be worth, and I'm pretty sure I bought them for like $10 or $15. I forget. I can look back and see how much I bought those originally for. But those would be worth around like $70 today. So part of me, this is just like me thinking out loud, is, okay, so if I just held my original position, I would have made a lot more. And like, I can't complain making like a 250% return. Like, I'm not going to complain, but I'm just thinking about how I can get better for 2021. And I think it was good that I managed risk by pulling, profits out and rolling my position. So I think that was good because in case this thing had rolled over, I'd be in a good spot. The fact of the matter is this never rolled over. So that's something I'm going to be thinking about, especially into the weekend and into this break. Like, should I incorporate something into my process that will allow me to just stick in for longer? So we'll have to see. I need to do some thinking on that because like, I don't know if the way I went about it was bad or if it was good because I did reduce my risk. I took out some of the returns. So yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to be thinking about. But at the end of the day, it was a great trade. I'm not going to complain about an 89% win. And I think the old me probably would have taken the trade off here and not stuck with the trade. So I gotta, be happy that at least now I'm at the point where I'm sticking with names that are working. Like I added some common shares into this one, so I still have some skin in the game. But yeah, definitely something where like, for me, I always want to be getting better. So I gotta think about that. MP. Oh, nice. MP closed strong. So MP, I added some commons in this name. Once it started turning, I got some good trade location on this. And, like all these trades, Leduc trading members are seeing these in real time. Because like what I used to do is post the trades on Twitter, because I hate those people that just like say what they did after the fact and like there's no transparency. Now, just out of respect for the Leduc clients, I don't post, like all my entries on Twitter anymore. Although that was a lot of fun when I did that. But yeah, so MP, I entered the commons, pretty close to this turn, because MP is one of my favorite long-term names. And I had originally started buying MP. I have cost basis in the $11 at $13. And I stuck with this name, but this is another one I've talked about repeatedly in these recap videos where I took some profits, on along the way in this parabolic move. And around here on this candle, I actually got down to a runner-sized position. So now that we had a nice pullback, I added to my position, and we'll see what happens if we can get back up to around like $40 a share. That's probably when I would trim again. But yeah, MP looking interesting. Spotify was another one that I traded. This one I put on. So I've just noticed Spotify. It's another one really nice, upward move. And then it's just consolidated sideways for, at this point, almost a month of just sideways movement. So I'm actually looking to see if this one gets the next leg up. I bought the January 15th 330 by 340 call spread. So we'll see, what happens with that one if we end up getting that push. So we will see. And then the other one, J&J. This one I think is pretty cool because it's something that I would normally never trade. So J&J. This one. So if you look at J&J, I saw a headline drop today about J&J's vaccine being approved potentially in February. And I'm just noticing this stock has been consolidating. Let me just go out to the weekly chart. It'll be a bit easier. Oh my gosh, am I going to make this video like super long? Okay, I'm going to try to cut it short today. But yeah, so this stock has been consolidating sideways. And it looks like this one might be finally moving out of consolidation. So this is one I wanted to jump into early. I bought the 155 strike calls for February. Bought them for about $6.45. So yeah, J&J is a stock, it's a blue chip stock. Doesn't normally move that much. You can see here hasn't moved in months. So it actually has pretty low implied volatility. You can get into these options for pretty cheap. Yeah, so I picked those up. We'll see what happens with those. That about does it for my trades for today. Into tomorrow, there's not really all that much I'm looking at. But we'll have to see. I like to do some research, at night and in the morning. So we'll see. And then in terms of our options activity, I'm just going to go through, a couple that I think are noteworthy. So you can see the QS call buyers, came back. This is like right around the close. They bought a December 31st 80 strike call. And QS is one that really caught fire. And, for the past couple of days has drawn down a little bit. So you can see nothing too crazy, but down 2.68% today. Looks like we have a dip buyer. Baidu, caught some flow in the morning. I'm sure that's what contributed to, the big move today. PXD. This one came in at 312. I'm actually not even familiar with this stock. I typically never see it, in the flow. Wow, this looks like a pretty decent setup. Let's see. Pioneer Natural Resources Company. Oh, wow, it's energy. Oh, that's pretty interesting. This one does look like a nice setup, and we broke below that 20-day simple moving average. This one looks pretty interesting. Probably going to have this on my watch list for tomorrow. More Tesla. GRWG. This is the last one we'll go through for the night. I put on so many trades today. I was really considering trading GRWG. In hindsight, I probably should have. I'm very bullish on the cannabis space. And this is one of the most bullish names within that space. And you can see yesterday, we pulled back to the 20-day simple moving average, and we had dip buyers, come in yesterday. Now today up 7.37%. In one day, we've almost recovered, the full drawdown of that growth scare, over the past couple days. So this one certainly looks pretty bullish still. Really interesting one. That call buyer came in. Good on them for grabbing those calls, at around noon. But that about does it for the unusual options activity. That about does it for this recap video. I will see you all tomorrow. Hope you have a great final trading day of 2020. And I hope we all have an even better trading year for 2021.